justice.
A couple springs ago, my friend Joel came over to ask if he could borrow my van to help move out of his college apartment. I said, sure, take it, go for it. A few hours later, when the van came back, it was still full of furniture.
Yo, Jeff, can I throw these couches in your garage for a few days? Just for a few days.
I said, sure, a few days, no big deal. A few days, right. 4 months later, the couches were still in my garage. One day, my wife was having a garage sale. I was so irritated about these couches, I got on the phone and said, Norman, that's Joel's last name. Norman, you better come get these couches. If you don't get these couches, I'm selling them in the garage sale. No call back, no sign of Joel. So I carried them out to the front of the house, put a $25 price tag on each couch. 4 hours later, a college student shows up. These couches are perfect. They will fit my room great. These are awesome. This is great. I can't wait. And he pays me $50 for the couches. When he goes to load them in his van, he realizes they're too heavy, too awkward by himself. He says, you know, guys, can you hang on to these for a couple hours? I'm gonna go get my roommate, have him help me carry these into the van and get them into our apartment. Goes and gets his roommate. About an hour later, they show up. The roommate is staring at his own couches. You got it. The roommate was my friend Joel.
Yeah, justice.
Joel now had to move his couches out of my yard and he paid me $50 for them. The Lord was shining down on me this day. Sometimes things just work out the right way. That's justice. Too many other times, people get cheated or taken advantage of. Life just isn't fair. That's injustice. And it gets a whole lot worse than just a couple couches stuck in a garage. In the book of Genesis, there's a story about Abraham and Sarah. Famine is broken out in Canaan and they have no food. So they pack up all of their stuff and they decide they're heading for Egypt. On the way, they realize there's a big problem. The rules in Egypt say that Pharaoh can have any woman that he wants. If she's married, you just kill the husband and take the wife. Abraham freaks out. He knows his wife is hot, he knows Pharaoh's gonna want her, and he did not want to die. So he cooks up a genius plan. He tells Sarah, when the Pharaoh comes for you, you gotta lie. You gotta tell him you're my sister. And that's exactly what she did. It's obvious the system is messed. Who can blame Abraham and Sarah for lying? They were caught in an unjust system and were forced to make a bad choice in order to protect themselves. I wonder how many people today are just as desperate as Abraham and Sarah. It's common practice in America to fund schools based around property values. So that means in a neighborhood like this one where I live, where the houses are worth a lot of money and there's a lot of rich people, there's a lot of money for education. Up to $14,000 per student per year. But in the inner city 15 miles from here, where the property values are low and there's less money, that total drops to $5,000 or less per year. Rich kids get a better education and poor kids get a worse education. Now, how do you respond when you're trapped in a system like that? Kelly Williams Bolar is a single mom in Akron, Ohio. She decided to fight the system, and she spent 9 days in jail because of it. Kelly and her kids lived in the inner city where the schools were underfunded, but she wanted her kids to have a good education and a safe environment. What she really wanted was her kids to have a chance to succeed. So instead of using her own inner city address in her kids' school documents, she put down her father's suburban address because she wanted her kids to be in a better school where they could get a good education. Unfortunately, that's a felony. She got caught. Let's be honest. Wouldn't most of us be tempted to do the same thing if we were in her shoes? In Micah, the prophet tells us to do justice. It's a simple command, to make things right. Christians, we're great at mercy. We hand out food and clothes, we give gifts to the poor, we step in and try to relieve people's suffering. The problem is, we never get to justice. We never dig down deep enough to get to the root cause of why people need all the mercy in the first place. Justice takes way more courage than mercy, because it means confronting the evil that caused the injustice. It's never easy, but it's what God requires of us.